Who are the leaders in our community? The leaders in our community are not too hard to come by when it comes to the big and the small. The Sea Cadets definitely stand out as leaders to me. They are a group of disciplined children from the ages 12 to 19 who help in different activities around the community, such as the Remembrance Day ceremony, the selling of poppies, and the Remembrance Day tea. This year they have also delivered phone books door to door because the community had asked them to help out. Also last year the cadets joined into the Relay for Life with their own team. It was called Operation CADETS to raise money for cancer. The cadets take on these different jobs to gain support of the community and the Legion, and also to help out those in need, because they help them out by letting them use the Legion, and they donate money for different trips the Corps goes on. To join the cadets is a simple matter. All you have to do is call Edward Majewski or Ashley Majewski and let them know that you're interested, and they'll let you know the next meeting date. The cadets usually meet from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays, and sometimes on Thursdays and on weekends for events such as marksmanship, sailing, and special out-of-town trips. The cadets do, however, break for summer. If you are an adult wishing to help out, you may volunteer to become a civilian officer. If you're wondering who a civilian officer is someone from the community who is willing to help out from the ages 19 and older. A civilian officer is someone who helps run the cadet corps. You must have a criminal record check done, and you may have special skills such as scuba diving, first aid, and etc. It can be anybody willing to help out, so long as they have the enthusiasm and can show up to every meeting. The training for certain courses that run every year for different officer positions are Administrative Officer, ADMR, is someone who handles incoming and outgoing mail and keeps records of the cadet corps. Training officers, TRGO. The training officers are people who instruct the phase training program, which is your basic training. Obviously, you also have to learn your basic teaching to know what to teach your cadets. The cadet instructor, cadet, CIC, are members of the Canadian Forces Reserves whose primary duties are to instruct the cadets. The executive officer, XO, is someone who runs the whole organization. This job may vary, though, depending on the type of organization. The courses now run online, but people used to go to Edmonton in Southern Ontario or anywhere else they were near a base. I have looked online for many of the courses and have not found any or any costs that go with. An ordinary seaman, OS, is someone who has just joined, does not, or has not yet qualified for another rank or badge. Able seaman, AS, is a first year or someone who has completed phase 1 of training. This badge has only 1 chevron. A leading seaman is someone who is a second year or has completed phase 2 of training. This badge has 2 chevrons. A third year or someone who has completed phase 3 of training is called a master seaman, MS. This badge still only has 2 chevrons, but now includes an anchor as well. Going on from that, we have Petty Officer 2nd Class, PO2. This badge will be gained only with the completion of phase 4 training. This badge has 3 chevrons and 2 crossed anchors. The badge after this is Petty Officer 1st Class, PO1, which is 5th year. This badge is just a crown. Chief Petty Officer 2nd Class is promoted only upon merit. This badge is the same crown encircled by a wreath. Chief Petty Officer 1st Class is also based on merit, and this is the highest rank a cadet can gain. This badge is the Canadian coat of arms. Officers' badges start with junior officers. Acting Sub-Lieutenant A/SLT. They are identified with 1 thick gold braid. The sub-lieutenant is identified by 1 thick gold braid with a thin one on top. Lieutenant Navy, LT brackets N, is identified with 2 thick gold braids. Senior officers, Lieutenant Commander, LCDR, identified with 2 thick gold braids and 1 thin one in between. Commander, CDR, who is identified with 3 thick gold bars, and finally the Captain, Navy, Capt, brackets N. They are identified with 4 thick gold braids.
Cheer up, my lads, 'tis to glory we steer, to add something more to this wonderful year. To honor we call you as free men, not slaves, for who are so free as the sons of the waves? Hearts of all our ships, jolly stars on our men, we always are ready, steady, boys, steady. We fight and we conquer again and again. We never see our foes, but we wish them to stay. They never see us, but they wish us away. If they run while we follow and run them ashore. For if
Okay, so for cadets, one of the questions I'd like to ask is, how do you show leadership and how do you teach it?
I think we show leadership just by role modeling, so showing the students, or cadets in this case, how they should act and behave, and that includes interactions with them as well as interactions with other officers, so showing them how to be good citizens and productive and accommodating and allowing differences, so just basically by doing what we expect them to do, acting the same way.
It.
Well, the way we show leadership is by being good role models. We try to set good examples for the younger ones so that way as they get older, they're used to seeing those same actions that we make and it makes them right. And we teach it throughout courses and we also show them. So there's the physical and taught classes for that.
You always control yourself. It's always about self-control and self-respect and showing that to others as well, even to your underlings. You always make sure that you focus on what they need, on what they have already, and you try to improve on that. And you do it in the best possible way.
What sort of activities do you do for the community?
Most of them involve the Legion, just supporting the veterans. We do Poppy Day, distribution of poppies. We do deliveries to the different businesses for poppy sales as well. We do the Remembrance Day service at the Legion. We've cleaned up the community, volunteer for Gold Corps cleanup, various things that are citizenship related, community related.
Well, we delivered phone books this year, and we usually go out for a few hours every year around Remembrance Day, and we hand out poppies, and we also help with the Ladies Legion tea, and we get involved into activities like Relay for Life and all that fun stuff.
Relay for Life was a really big one. We supported that. We supported cancer research, and we involved games that we could give to the public, and it really got them involved, and it drew more people. We've also done what's it called? Remembrance Day teas. We get the more senior population in, and we get their support, and we also do dinners and other things in the Legion that draws the community together, and it makes people aware and involved with what the Sea Cadet Corps wants and what it does.
Do you think leadership is important when you're being a role model for the kids?
I think you have to be aware of it at all times. I mean, you may not feel that you're a leader, but I think situations when you're an adult or in a position of authority, kids look up to you, whether it's cadets or students, so you need to be aware that you are in a leadership role and the things that you do will reflect on what they think a leader is.
Yes, personally, I think leadership is important because without that, everybody would have their own way of doing things, and it's okay for other people to follow in footsteps because there is a right and a wrong, and if we set that good example, then there is a chance that many of us will be more of leaders and follow in their
Yes,
path.
exactly. It's very important. Without leadership, then frankly, anarchy happens. Without leadership, people just want to go their own way, and eventually people start bucking heads, and then you got chaos. I mean, you don't need to be a tyrant to be a leader, but you do need to be firm. Otherwise, the people won't take you seriously.
Okay, and how does the community see you as leaders?
I think that they see the kids as being in a good organization that allows them to develop skills that they need and that they use in life. So I think they see us as trying to develop their children to the best they can be and showing them what they can possibly reach as potential. And that sense of discipline and the leadership and the instruction that we do, I think, helps towards that. So I think the community sees us in a positive light.
I think the community sees us as leaders because we volunteer a lot. We don't necessarily do it for money. And the Army and cadets have always been something that our country has respected. So I think that just us being there for a whole bunch of events and stuff like that, they really appreciate it and it helps them out a lot.
So far, the reaction from the community has been very supportive, very positive, because we've come up on our 35th anniversary here, so we have been a part of Red Lake for a long time. And many people know it, and they know what we do. So we are a very important part of this community, and it shows from what we have done for the people and what they've done for us. Without their support, we wouldn't be here either.
What does leadership in 256 Partition mean to you?
Leadership in 256 Partition means to me as being a good role model and being a good citizen in the community, and we set an example for others and we hope that they follow in our path.
To me, it means that you must set an example. You must show the best and brightest that 256 has to offer, because there are younger children there who will be eventually taking your place once they get to your age. And if you haven't set the right example, and if you haven't taught them the right skills that you learned, then eventually the system disseminates and there'll eventually be no point. No one will take it seriously.
So to conclude this presentation, 256 Partition are definitely leaders in the eyes of the community for how well they role model and teach the younger kids how to be leaders. Where we lead, others will follow. RCSCC 256 Patrician Cadet Corps, Red Lake.